YouTube, what the crap's going on? And if you want something besides Warhammer, well, tonight's your night. And not only that, this is going to be great. Now, that said, I love Warhammer, honestly. So yeah, here's a game that I've got for you. This is going to be Sol Invictus, playing as the Getae, and he's up against Sunson Diary, playing as the Boii. Two really good players here, and apparently this was in the first game of the finals of what he called the Risk Tournament. Of course, he has a channel too, so if you want to go check out his channel, he probably puts some of these videos up, and he's really good at the game. So yeah, let's check out his Getae build here. 4 Axe Warriors, looks like a couple of Noble Swords, Falcons, Spears, some Bowmen, Bow Horsemen, Spear Horsemen, and 1 Noble. The Boii side, plenty of Sword Followers as we'd expect. A few Axe Warriors for the Boii, which is interesting. Levy Freeze. Looks like Spear Brothers. Quite a few spears, actually, and different types of spears for the Boii. That's 3 Heavy Horse and an Oathsworn. So interesting that the Boii player comes so spear heavy. 2 of them are veteran spears, interesting, which is listed as a very heavy spear infantry. So 5 Sword Followers being the main contingent, the Axe Warriors and an Oathsworn backing them up. Interesting pick. I'm trying to think about that, why the Boii wouldn't go Oathsworn heavy versus the Getae. I mean, you always have the risk of getting hit by a lot of Bow Horsemen from the Getae, so maybe who's concerned about getting a build that was too heavy on elite infantry and getting picked apart, because the Getae can skirmish better than the Boii, that's for sure. That's the one big advantage that the Getae have. They have way more skirmish potential than the Boii. But the Boii have extremely cost-effective heavy melee cavalry, very cost-effective cheap spears, and they even have pretty decent medium spears here in the Spear Warriors with cavalry counter tactics. Sword Followers are fantastic mid-tier infantry, some of the best in the game. There's actually only 4 of them, not 5. Yeah, only 4 of them. And I don't know how the veteran spears perform. They have cavalry counter tactics. They are pretty heavily armored with nice health and base morale, so it looks like a pretty good spear unit. So we'll just kind of see how this plays out. Everybody's spread paper thin because this is Rome 2, and that's what you do. Same thing in Attila. Seemed like ever since Napoleon Total War came out, the paper thin stuff was popular until Warhammer came back. So a little bit of positioning going on between the players right now. Let's kind of see how Sol Invictus has his troops laid out. He's got a Noble Sword on the flanks, so he's got heavy hitters on the flanks, a lot lighter hitters down the center with some Mercenary Axe and Falcons. He's got the Dacian Heavy Bowmen behind them, 150 range, 35 missile damage. Falconsmen backing that up. Anti-large for the Falconsmen, so definitely not bad to have there. And they're backed up by a Noble Horseman, and then the 2 Spear Horsemen are supporting near the flanks. And there's some heavy spears here, cavalry counter tactics, and shield wall. So we'll see how that plays out. Armored spears here, same thing, cavalry counter tactics and shield wall, heavy spear infantry. Gonna play this out here and see what happens. Beating the Boii with the Getae is no small task. It's going to be risky in the sense that the Getae are certainly not as powerful. There's a couple of reasons for that. Oathsworn outperform Noble Swords, and the heavy cavalry of the Boii, and there's actually, looks like 2 heavy cav and a light horse. Missed that earlier. The Bow Horseman back here being a pretty big nuisance. Surprised didn't get hit by javelins there from the Levy Freeman. It was pretty close. Another Bow Horseman out here. Bow Horsemen could be potentially very deadly if they get the right opportunity. Heavy shot, point-blank fire. No skirmishers for the Boii, by the way, which is interesting. He's gone all infantry, and that's maybe why he brought a lot of extra spears, because of all the javelins and cheap shielded units that you can throw in. Spear Warriors fighting heavy spears here. That'll probably go better for the heavy spears. Let's see, some heavy horsemen moving up. The spear horsemen do not want an engagement with the heavy horsemen, not while they're unsupported. Veteran spears heading this way. They're taking shots in the back, and now the the spear horsemen, which, let's see, let's check their stat. They are a heavy melee cavalry. Their stats are considerably worse, but they are supported immediately by armored spears. And then the Noble Swordsmen are going to absolutely wreck this veteran spear if it wants to go into combat with them. So definitely not the place that they want to be. Sword Followers, not going to get the greatest of charges here, but it'll be okay. Spear Horsemen and Falconsmen coming into a Heavy Horseman. There is spear warriors here. Cavalry counter tactics, so the general's going to want to get away from that, and Sol Invictus does that quite well. Heavy horsemen here getting wrecked. Spear horsemen in pretty good shape, so nice play. And then these noble swords are absolutely kicking the crap out of the veteran spears, but now they're going to get reinforced by axe warriors, which would be handy because a little bit of extra armor piercing. Bow horsemen can kind of just sit here content and do whatever it needs to. Let's watch the noble horseman. It's going to drive some charges in here into this engaged infantry. It's kind of through its own men. Won't be ideal. Let's see if it does any damage. Not a lot. Gets a little bit of damage done. Not a lot. The heavy horse here, though, going down quickly, and then the Getae keeping their horsemen alive, which is a huge play. Armored spears are going to wreck Levy Freeman. The Oathsworn General is getting shot in the back by the horse archers, and this is a great use of the horse archers. It's keeping this Oathsworn out of a fight that they could heavily swing. Noble swordsmen doing well versus the axe warriors. They've already wiped out most of a veteran spear. Repeated charges from the noble horsemen. Here they're going to take a few javelins. They'll pull out of there. They've got 50... yeah, noble horsemen's got 58 kills. Pretty solid performance. Mercenary axe warriors engaging sword followers. They're not going to last forever in there, but there are other units for support out on the flank. Yeah, those veteran spears got torn up by the noble sword, but now they're going to come back in for more. The noble horseman just repeatedly cycle charging through its own units, and it's picking up a lot of kills. It's up to 90 kills for only 10 men lost. That is impressive. Bow horseman trying to be annoying here. It may try and charge through the Levy Freeman. No. Oh, the javelins. It's sitting just outside javelin range. It's got to eat a volley. No, is it going to bait it? Yes. Mostly successful javelin bait there. It took a little damage. Yeah, the Boii in the center are just overpowering the Getae, but the heavy bowmen are sitting back doing their work. Let's see how the kills are going. 11 kills there, 15 there, 30 kills on that one. So definitely starting to get some kills. The Falksmen can come in and get a nice charge here. They're not going to last long in combat. Bow horseman at 5 kills. Where's the other bow horseman at? It's over here. Yeah, so we'll just kind of see how this is going. So the noble swordsman over here now engaged with an Oathsworn. It's going to be in a rough spot, but it did get 132 kills otherwise. But yeah, that Oathsworn's going to be bad. And a light horse breaks through the lines. It's going to get hit by a spear horseman and other spears, though. Heavy spears. But there are quickly infantry reinforcements headed that way for the Boii. So the main line of the Getae is collapsing. And the Getae are going to have to do as much damage as they possibly can to try and skirmish this out in the end. Bows have fairly limited ammo compared to something like slingers, though. So, but let's see. Where's the general here? The noble horseman. 129 kills. Here they're about to take a charge, though, from some of these veteran spears. And that's going to be nasty, especially if they pop cavalry counter tactics. The noble horseman charging on through because the mass was there for it to do so, and it was in a good position. And the Oathsworn General may be about to eat a noble horse charge. Nope, it's going to pull away and try and hit this veteran spear unit that's not braced at all. So their trample charge actually popped, and then he changes his target at the last second to these sword followers. So 150 kills and climbing quickly, so getting a ton of kills with the noble horseman. Just got to watch out for the constant threat of javelins and spear units nearby. But if he can keep the mass of these guys rolling here now, they're starting to drop some units now. Second wind coming in. It's a great play there to keep them from getting exhausted. Makes them more effective. Veteran spears pushing the bowmen. That's not good for the bowmen. Their missiles won't do a lot straight into the front of that heavily shielded unit. Over here, the noble swords just racking up the kills, up to 160 because they've got the support of other units to help tank. So the axe warriors in combination with these guys they're just absolutely brutal. Look at that. Great play, and there was no Oathsworn over there to counter them. And see where the Boii had the Oathsworn on the other flank. They did fantastic. These axe warriors are going to get trashed by the noble horsemen. So 192 kills with about half the unit left. So great play with the noble horsemen so far, just really fantastic. Veteran spears taking a little bit of fire from behind, but I almost wonder if these units here might get used to just target these down and go ahead and let the veteran spear chase this one off into the distance. That way these bowmen can be useful against maybe the Oathsworn General, who's looking like he wants to get involved in this fight. I like how one unit being extricated here by Sol Invictus, just to kind of undo the blobbing a little bit. Don't want to get completely surrounded. Heavy spear here tanking off some damage, which is going to be great. The noble sword being extricated from that fight as well. 214 kills. Could get another charge off the noble sword, which would be very helpful. Quite a few skirmishers left, and this noble horseman's got 216 kills. This sword follower's about to drop. This bow horseman probably still has a little bit of ammo. Definitely looking winnable for the Getae at this point, which is impressive because the Boii definitely punched through the center. But the heavy flank, where you had the noble swords and the armored spears and the axe warriors, really paying off. Look at that, 100 and something kills on the axe warriors even, and then it looks the noble sword kind of pulling away. Oh, this will be a great engagement for him if they can catch it. The veteran spears would certainly be a nice engagement to single them out. So he basically just concedes that he's going to lose this one and takes the opportunity to fire in with the skirmishers, which is a nice play. Do a ton of damage to these units, and you'll see he's going to bring in another unit just to pin these guys down, it looks like. His general's still alive, 239 kills, and bringing a shock cavalry into the late game can be devastating. You can see these veteran spears don't want anything to do with the noble sword, and I can't blame them. And I can't also blame him for, I mean, part of me would be tempted to just turn the archer around just to keep the veteran spear long enough for the noble sword to catch it, but if it has a lot of ammo, you can't risk that. The army losses are starting to take their toll, and doesn't say the generals died, but this Oathsworn's wavering, so that means the army losses are significant. The veteran spear routed as well, so this is actually a really solid win here for Sol Invictus versus a much tougher faction. And a really nice play on his part, really nice play. You'll notice that early on, when the heavy horse came after him, the way that he combined his spear horsemen and the way he got his swords into the expensive spears, it basically started creating bad trades for the Boii. And in my opinion, that's what really swung this to his favor. Typically, the Boii has units that match up very favorably against certain Getae units. So like sword followers would match up very favorably versus mercenary axe warriors. Oathsworn would match up very favorably versus noble swords. But I like how, again, when those engagements came up, Sol Invictus was able to bring the heavy horse, which would normally trade favorably against spear horsemen, but he pulls it in where there's nearby support of spearmen, and when he brings in his own spearmen are out on the flank, and they get met by noble swords, which absolutely chew through his spearmen. And with, again, just the one Oathsworn, I almost feel like two Oathsworn here would have definitely been a better choice. That was a lot of spearmen. The spearman kind of makes sense. It helps protect him from maybe a heavy shock cavalry play by the Getae, potentially. It also gives him shields to put up in front of lots of skirmishers and lets him go infantry heavy so that he only has to focus on that. So I don't entirely oppose what he did here by any means. And Sunset Diary is a better player than me by a long shot. And if I'm saying stuff here that's wrong, then that's all it is. I'm wrong. But I don't know, just you know, outside looking in, that's what I see. Obviously, if I was playing in a tournament versus Sol Invictus, I would have lost. But I enjoyed the game from both of them. This was fun. It was a great matchup. Two great players. Appreciate Sol Invictus sending that in. And again, if you want to see some more Rome 2 videos, I'll put a link to his channel in there. Go check it out. He sends me great battles like this all the time, so I'm assuming he's got good stuff on his channel if he's uploading. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate all of you viewing, and if you've been waiting for some Rome 2, hopefully I made your day here. And there will be occasionally more Rome 2 and other stuff like that. I'm not going to be showing it as frequently as Warhammer, because Warhammer is newer and I enjoy it more. But I'm not going to like leave this game altogether. There's still fun replays in here, and I still like the historical side of things. So yeah, just because I'm enjoying something new doesn't mean I'm going to give up on it altogether. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Appreciate MSI sponsoring the build that I'm recording this with. It was very awesome of them. It helps me record some great videos for you. HeirofCarthage signing out. I will see you next time.